Hi everyone, this is Gina Kodel here, and I am the cello teacher at Mountain View Elementary School, and I'm going to give you guys some tips and reminders and stuff you can practice over the break. So let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is I already have my cello out, so you can do that, and what I have right here is an anchor. Now, how the anchor works is that you put it, if you have an anchor like this, some of them are different, but I have it where I put it on the left side, have it underneath there, and then arrange it according to where it's comfortable for you. Okay, and so you're going to pick up the cello. You take your left hand, make sure it's your left hand, and you have that part. You take the neck, and then you take this part with a little nook right here. You lift it up, sit on your chair, and then you turn it to the side. Now make sure when you're turning the cello to the side, make sure that, you know, there's space, that there's not something next to it that you'll hit. And then you watch this, and then you pull this on out, the end pin. And then you see where it's comfortable for you. Get it to where it's comfortable. Now also, one thing to keep in mind is this part right here, the pegs. You don't want it where the pegs are like hitting your ear or anything. You want it above, either just above or just make sure it's above your ear so that it's not in your way. So I'm going to pull mine out a little bit more for comfort. And then, okay, and once you find that comfortable spot, if you have like floor like this where it's non-carpeted, have your anchor go out as far as where it's comfortable for you. I already pre-did that. So what we're going to get to now is plucking. Okay, so after you've tuned your strings, I've taught you guys how to tune the strings, you know. If it's flat, you look at the little fine tuners here. Remember, the very bottom is the 12, as it like the clock, 12 noon. And then if it's flat, you turn it clockwise. And if it's sharp, you turn it counterclockwise. All right, so let's get started with plucking. Let's start with the G string. Now you have it where you have it farther down. I see a lot of you guys tend to be up here. I want you guys to come on down, and I want your thumb to be like, you know, on the side of it, and then I want your pointer finger, your first finger, and I want you just to pluck it. Now I kind of want it where it's more the side of your finger, not exact side, but just more on the side. It's not directly across. It's more where your finger is kind of down a little bit, kind of pointing down, not 100%, not 180, vertically down, but kind of down that way, down that direction. And so I want you to pluck it towards your lower string. Now your lower string would be like your C or G. Have it, say you start at A, pluck it towards your D. You can even touch the D string. Don't pluck up in the air, don't lift up, you don't need to do that. Just pluck towards the D string. And then from the D string to the G string, and then the G string to the C string. And then the C string, it's like, oh, there's no string that it'll go to next. Where would it go? Well, you just kind of pluck it and you can bring it right back to stop the sound or let it ring. And so depending on if it's more precise staccato or longer. Okay, and so you guys have jingle bells, which you guys can practice, that cool, awesome little bass part. And so just practice that, and now you understand how to pluck. And also, there's no need to ever lift your shoulder when you're doing that, because that just creates tension. You just lift your elbow a little bit to go to the higher string. All right. And now we'll get to the bow. So if you hadn't done this already, you tighten your bow. I already tightened it, I'm going to loosen it to show you. But you tighten your bow all the way. Well, not all the way, but you tighten your bow to where it's about like that. It can be a little bit of a bend, but not to where the string is touching the wood. You want it about that much. And so how you hold the bow is basically you're going to do it where you take your middle finger, this one right here, and you have it where it goes on the outside of the bow. This is your right hand, by the way. Make sure it's your right hand. Take a look, see your thumb and fingers. And so you have it where your middle finger is on that metal part, just touching the metal part right there. And then have it where your thumb, if you'd like, well, I'll turn around right now to show you where the thumb is. You can use your left hand in order to hold the bow to help it so that you can figure out, and make sure it's not touching the string, just the wooden part. Your left hand can hold that so that it's nice, so that you can use your right hand to do what it needs to do, get comfortable. And so your left thumb will go right about here in that crook right there. And then, as I said before, your middle finger will kind of just tap that metal part there. And then you'll have it where your first finger is just, I'll turn around. Your first finger is about 1/4 of an inch away from the others. And then you have it where the others are just kind of relaxed and towards the ground. And so, cello players are very, I guess, very square-like. It's kind of like a 90-degree kind of thing. And you have it where your first finger is, again, that 1/4 of an inch away from the rest, but also where it's slightly curled, not totally curled underneath or anything, but just slightly curled. And also, make sure your thumb is not straight, because if your thumb's straight like this, it'll get all, you know, your thumb will cramp, and that's kind of uncomfortable. So make sure your thumb is bent, and make sure it's loose and comfortable. And also, one thing you can do to also help you with this is also turn it upright. That's also it's a lot easier to do it that way when you're first starting out, just to hold the bow, feel that. And also your pinky, it's kind of, as long as it's not up here, it could be on the dot, it could be just next to the dot. And so whatever's comfortable for you, everyone has different shaped hands. So yeah, and so what's comfortable for you? This is comfortable for me. So this is how I do it. And so you see that? All right, nice and comfortable. And then I want you to do a little exercise. I want you to lift your third and fourth finger. See that? If you can do that, you know, then you're a lot more grounded in a way, to have your first finger and your pinky and your thumb still on it. And now the next thing I want you to try, put those back. Now this one's a bit more of a toughie. I want you to have it where it's just your third finger and your thumb. And have it, see, where it's not, mine's moving a little bit, but have it where it's just moving and not going every which way. So have it where it's like that. And if you can do that, you have it in about the right position, and then you'll be good to go. Put your fingers back on, feel comfortable. All right, now let's get it to the cello. All right. Oh, you're still recording? Ah, okay. So back to the cello. All right. So how I want you to have it, I want you to hold it on the G string. I want you to have it resting on the G string right now. And basically what I want you to do is have it where your elbow goes back. Now we're only going to use a little bit of bow. You can even have your left hand to help you. Just want a little bit of bow. And so, now I want you guys to have it where all of this part of the bow, all of it is in contact with the string. Because I don't want it where it's like here, where it's too far back, too far this. It's very square. And so all this is touching the string. This bow touching the string. Alrighty then. So I want you to pull back with your elbow. Pull back. And then once you get about there, have your elbow go in along with the rest of your arm. So now I don't want to see any of this. Because otherwise that'll be a lot of strain and it'll be hard to get the bow straight. It's just very uncomfortable. And also, I don't want it to be where, I don't want anything to be locked. I don't want your wrist to be locked that way or to be too over curved. So you could have it a little bit rounded, which is perfectly fine. I want it to be loose and flexible.